welcome to my course on musical composition. My name is Wesley Besancon, and I'll be your instructor throughout this journey through art, craft, and the discipline of writing music. Whether you're a performer looking to begin composing, a student preparing for collegiate study, an educator seeking a deeper understanding of musical structure, or an experienced musician hoping to expand your compositional skills, this course is designed to provide a comprehensive foundation in the techniques and principles that composers use every day. Composition is often viewed as a mysterious process, something driven purely by inspiration or talent. While inspiration certainly plays a role, composition is also a learned craft. Great composers throughout history have studied form, harmony, orchestration, counterpoint, style, and analysis in order to communicate musical ideas effectively. The purpose of this course is to help you develop those same tools. Throughout this course, we will explore composition from both a practical and an analytical perspective. Rather than simply learning rules, we will investigate why certain musical techniques work, how they have evolved throughout history, and how they can be applied creatively in modern composition. You will learn how to move from musical ideas to complete, coherent works while developing your own artistic voice, which is very important. This course is not restricted to a single style of music. Instead, we will examine techniques that can be applied across a wide range of musical traditions and contemporary settings, anywhere from Orfeo all the way up to Schoenberg. Now that we have explained what this course is and what its intentions are, let's take a brief look at some of the major topics we will be covering. First, we will be looking at music structure and form. This is a fundamental part about writing music. Only behind the actual ideas that you come up with, this is the most important part. It is more than just a collection of melodies and harmonies. It is an organized system of relationships unfolding through time. In this, we will be examining motifs and thematic development, phrase structure, musical syntax, formal designs, large-scale organization throughout a whole piece, and the relationship between expectation and fulfillment. By understanding structure, you will learn how to create music that feels intentional, cohesive, and engaging. Another very, very important part in music is harmony. And there's two main types of harmony we will be looking at. There's other kinds, but really we're going to be looking at tonal and atonal harmony. And this is what drives a melody. This is what brings a melody somewhere. We will be studying functional tonal harmony, chromatic harmony, extended tonality, modal systems, post-tonal techniques, and atonal approaches to organization. Rather than treating tonal and atonal music as opposing worlds, we will explore them as different solutions to the same compositional challenge, which is organizing musical material meaningfully. We will also be taking a look through contemporary styles and genres found in wind band music, orchestral music, jazz composition, chamber music, solo instrumental literature, and contemporary music. We will be analyzing representative works, identifying common stylistic practices, and discussing how composers adapt techniques to different ensembles and performance contexts. The next skill we will also be looking at is orchestration, which is right below everything we've already talked about. This is another very important technique here. A musical idea can very easily sound different depending on how it is orchestrated. For this reason, orchestration will be a major component of this course. Topics will include instrument ranges, timbre and color, balance and blend, doubling techniques, texture, ensemble writing, and practical considerations for performers. The goal is not merely to know what instruments can play, but to understand how they sound and interact with each other. Something played, for example, on clarinet is not going to sound anything like a phrase played on a soprano sax. Same exact key, completely different instrument. The next thing we will be looking at is very essential to getting your music down, and that is going to be keyboard skills, which I have my keyboard right here. Let me turn up volume. Keyboard it does not just mean piano. It means MIDI controller, like this one right here. It means organ. It means piano, but it means more than just piano. And the keyboard remains one of the most valuable tools available to composers. And you do not need to be a concert pianist. You do not need to be able to play a Beethoven piano sonata to be a composer. But you definitely need to know how the keys on here relate to musical notes and how you can translate something played on here into a note, right? And because of this, we will discuss how composers use keyboard instruments to explore harmonic ideas, test voicings, develop counterpoint, analyze repertoire, and sketch compositions efficiently. Building comfort at the keyboard can significantly improve both compositional speed and musical understanding. And our final thing we will be looking at throughout this whole course is notation software. It is important, but not as important as everything said so far. And what is a notation software? It is what you put your music in to look nice. It is what you engrave your music with, if that makes any sense. And professional composers also must be effective communicators, right? A brilliant composition loses value if its performers cannot read it. So that is why we'll be discussing notation software. In this topic, we will be discussing notation software setup, score formatting, part extraction, engraving fundamentals, file management, and professional workflow practices. These skills help ensure that your musical ideas can move successfully from your imagination to the rehearsal room and eventually the performance. Throughout this course, we will be using a few reference materials. It is not bad to buy them, but I will go over everything in them that we will need when we get there, of course. These include the Professional Arranger Composer by Russell Garcia, Introduction to Music as Structure by William Thompson, this is the workbook, but Chromatic Harmony by the Free Press, the Beethoven Sonatas for Piano, published by Calmus specifically. And the final, possibly the most important book we will be using for musical analysis is going to be the Norton Anthology of Western Music. This is book 2. I suggest getting all of them. They're all really good reference materials. But it contains orchestral scores, solo works, and everything in between. It's published by Norton. Each of these resources offers a different perspective on composition. Some provide practical techniques, others explore theoretical foundations, and others serve as primary musical sources for analysis. Together, they will help us connect compositional practice with the broader traditions of Western art music. We've already kind of went over this, but this is more direct. This is what you will expect in this course. You are expected to analyze scores, listen critically, complete compositional exercises, go back and revise some of your earlier works before this course, and develop original musical ideas. Composition is learned through writing. Just as performers improve through practice, composers improve through consistent creation and refinement. You do not need to arrive with years of compositional experience. Curiosity, discipline, and a willingness to experiment are far more important than prior knowledge. And just a final thought, one of the greatest privileges of composition is the ability to create something that did not exist before, right? Every piece of music begins with an idea, sometimes only a few notes, a rhythm, a texture, or a question. In the next video, we will actually develop a melody, and we will use everything from the course to turn it into a full-scale piece of music for orchestra. The techniques we will study throughout this course are not intended to limit creativity. They exist to expand your ability to communicate musical ideas with clarity, purpose, and imagination. My hope is that by the end of this course, you will not only understand how music is constructed, but also possess the tools and confidence to construct meaningful music of your own. Thank you for joining me. I am Wesley Besancon, and I look forward to exploring the art of musical composition with you. Let's begin.